Hi everyone, how are we doing today? Today's class will be fast as possible, and then I'll also show you a bit of practical with my website. I think I'll start with the practical aspect. I'll just show you what it looks like physically. Um, so yesterday I was walking you guys through through uh and data analytics, right? Platforms that we use for analytics and all that, and I showed you some examples, right? And then we went into what's the name of the product we used? We're still going to talk about it much later. Let me go and check. PM2 stock. I'm trying to remember so I can open the tab. Yeah, we talked about amplitude, right? Um, and then we looked at it together. I told you guys that I actually connected the amplitude to my website intentionally just so that I can actually help you guys see what it looks like. And I advised that outside of class, the way I do as every time, that you should also go and check out these platforms. I gave you the name of as many as I know. Yesterday I mentioned the fact that the first product I used for analytics ever in my life or in my entire career is Mixpanel. After Mixpanel, I used Metabase. Then after Metabase, I've used Vercel personally. Amplitude, I've never used it before. Post.org, I also used it personally. I learned it personally just to, know about the product so that if I'm in an interview or I'm speaking at an event and somebody, I don't like being caught off guard. And I used to speak at events. Some of them I don't post out. And so when I go to events, I'm always priding myself in being able to answer questions. So when I hear about a new tool, I like to use it. I like to try it out to see what's different about this particular tool. And I advised you guys to do the same as well. As is my culture, I've told you guys most of the tools I use today are self-taught, right? They're not, I didn't go to a training that say, okay, this is what it looks like. But lucky for you, yesterday I went through a lot, a lot trying to explain amplitude to you, how it works, and many other things like that. Please confirm that you can hear me, please, everyone. Can you confirm
Yeah,
that you can hear me?
you can hear
All
you.
right. All right, because it seems like my internet is acting up. All right, so yesterday, we did a bit of talking about those data. And like I said, I tried my best to connect where is it? Yes. Oof, I need the dashboard itself. Okay. No, this is the charts. Looking for the dashboard itself. Okay. So yesterday I tried my best to at least connect the my website to it, and I think we all were able to use it at one point or the other. And we saw the data coming in, like as you guys were clicking on it, opening different page, we saw the data basically tripping in as that happened, right? Um, as I mentioned yesterday, we might not be able to go through all of them, but I actually went through basics. So for those of us that are not yesterday, please try as much as possible to go back. I showed you what a funnel looks like. I even showed you an example of what it looks like based on the practical that we did yesterday. Um, so today I want to actually discuss a very important part, and I will be doing a bit of practical before we go into class to talk about it. So if you go to my website, right, on laptop right now, you see, like if you are checking the website on laptop, you see that this color, the accent color, we'll call it accent color, this color that you're looking at is green, right? But if you check it on my mobile, just give me a minute, guys. Uh, All right. So as I was saying, sorry for that. If you're checking these particular websites on mobile, I did something small yesterday. Please confirm. Maybe it's not just it's working on my own, but it's not working on it's not working on everybody else's own. Uh, so if you go to the landing page, the same oluyomiolusola.com, you see that the color is red. Can anybody confirm that? I want to be sure I'm not the only one that is looking at it. I'm experiencing it. Anyone confirming?
Yes, I
I
can confirm that.
All right. So how was I able to do this? This is what we call ideally A/B testing, and it's also what we call feature flag. So the idea is the same platform that multiple people are able to access at the same time, or the same website, the same application that you and I are using, but we have different experience. Usually, when we say A/B testing, is an intentional we do it intentionally to see people's reaction to it, right? For example, we do it on buttons, on features. If we give this feature in this manner to this set of users, how would they perceive it? If we give it to this set of users, how would they perceive it? So you can give this feature to one cohort. I explained what cohort is yesterday. You can give this to one cohort and then give that to another cohort and then observe how the different cohorts interact with it, right? And then over time, you can also switch it and then observe again how they interact with it, and then you decide which one to go for eventually. Usually, we used to test when we are really not very, very sure which solution to go for when we have a problem to solve, right? Another way, I've explained a lot about feature flags in and A/B testing in a previous class, and I'll still mention it a lot I think one more time before we actually end the program. So today we'll actually be learning about how analytics 2 actually help us with A/B testing. For this that you guys saw, I used uh
I'm so sorry,
I
please. I did not get what you asked us to check.
this particular website,
Yeah, your website.
olusholaoluyomi.com. Yes.
Yeah.
If you check it, I mean the landing page or not any other page, just the
Mm.
.com. If you check on
Mm.
mobile, on your mobile phone, it should be showing a different color, not
Uh,
green.
okay. 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 I think what I did was to just make my screen mobile. Maybe I'll get my phone and see. Maybe it's going to show red on
Yeah,
my phone.
it should ideally
But
work as
I
well.
believe it should.
It should work as well. But the browser might not process it. But anyway, if the data that is sent to
Oh,
the
okay. Okay. I refreshed
system,
now and I can see. Yeah, I just
okay.
refreshed. So I see.
Ah, okay. So we can even see it. So I ideally, if the data that is sent, if I refresh it now, it goes back to normal. All right. So
You said
the way
it's
I've been
fine now.
able to, what do you say?
Sorry, it was a compliment. The red seems very fine.
Yeah, you prefer the red. Okay, you see, this is the idea behind A/B testing, ideally, right? So that we can choose. Like maybe we have this. Oh, customers will like red more. Customers will like green more, right? And then we're not sure. So in that case, we'll do a bit of A/B testing, right? And then we serve red to some customers. Let me we serve red to some customers and we serve green to other customers. And then hopefully we now start seeing, oh, we're having a drop like in the number of customers that are going to our websites. There's a drop because of the red, and there's an increase because of the green. People are coming more often because of the green, because it's more calmer to them. The red seems to be scaring them away, or something like that. Or the red is more calmer and the green is scaring them away, right? That's the idea of A/B testing. That somebody is using the same website, person A is using it on iPhone, and I can also do that as well and say that okay, I want it to work certain way for iPhone users, and I want it to work uncertain way for Android users. Ideally, this is what A/B testing is. I know some of us probably have learned this before, but we've not seen it in action, and which is why I took my time to try to implement it yesterday night. So that when we come to class today, it makes sense when I'm explaining it to you guys. All right, so now we can go to class, right? Because now you know what it looks like. Ideally, your development team are the one implementing it. You don't have to worry about, because it requires a bit of implementing SDK, writing on some codes, and all that. But the direction of whether to do it or not comes from us. And if we don't understand what to expect, right? Eventually we might not even know that it should be done, right? A lot of companies, especially in Nigeria, practically, I don't think I've ever experienced A/B testing with any Nigerian company. Please, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I know we have product managers here. Maybe you guys have done A/B testing in your company. I don't know. But I don't think I've really experienced it. Or even feature flag. I don't think we have that concept of, we use that concept of feature flag as much. Like, oh, okay, only some set of users should have access to this feature for now. Like, it's same production environment, but some users have some features, other users don't have some features. I don't experience it as such. Some of my mentees that work in companies, always Nigerian companies, always tell me that this is not something that when they bring it up, like, either engineering is kicking back at it, or the CEO is saying they don't have the luxury of time to be testing, blah blah blah. But the idea is it's a very good practice, because it helps you validate your theories, and all of that at the end of the day. So today, that's what we want to learn. So like I said, an A/B test randomly splits users into two groups or more, right? And show each a different version of your product. I can still divide users into three groups, actually, or four groups. But the goal of A/B testing, like the word says, A/B, right, is to have a main color that you guys want to go for, and then you have a control color. Something like, for those of us that went to good secondary school, all right, for some of us, we went to a very bad secondary school. Well, so some of us that went to a good secondary school, right, they would always teach us this in biology. You take a rat and then take another rat, put both of them inside container, and then give one particular treatment to one rat, and then don't give it to the other rat, and then see if the other rats that you didn't give that treatment fares better, right? That's what control is. The same way applicable to building systems. So I think that idea is what was brought in here. So you have the main action that you want the customer to actually use, and then you have the control, like those users that you didn't actually give, if they are faring better than those that you gave, right? And just like I just tested right now, my color has always been green. Adiola has never complained that she doesn't like the green, but now Adiola can see red on my color. She's like, I know that she didn't know that she was unmuted, but she was like, I think she likes the red better, right? That kind of feedback can help you actually improve your system. Sometimes you push those features to about the few people the group that are pushing it to, which is the main group, and they say, hey guys, this, please, can you just bring back our system? This is terrible, all right? And then you've seen this. Some of us have seen this over and over with WhatsApp. I gave an example the last time, that the functionality to do video audio recording, video notes, so to say, was formerly a double tap on the audio button. So if you double tap, it will change to video, and then you can slide up to video yourself recording audio notes, right? But a lot of customers did not take it lightly, and boom, it was changed. Now it has been moved to the camera button, right? Like you do as if you want to add a picture, and then you switch to voice note. Another feature that you guys would remember, at least some of us that had the feature earlier, would be the community feature, right? The community feature initially, when they launched it, again, somebody can counter me here. When they launched it, it replaced statuses entirely. In fact, statuses were not, it was so terrible. Anybody here, just raise up your hand if you remember when they released the community feature on WhatsApp, right? they put it where the WhatsApp status usually is, and everything was also scattered. People were complaining, blah blah blah, and then they pushed it back a bit. They brought it back again, forced it on people for a while, and then pushed it back again. And the whole process is just to see which of the designs make sense before they finally now settled with what they have right now. But even with what they have right now, they are still testing, right? I know some of us probably might have noticed people that don't have your number. With WhatsApp, you can only see the status of people that have your phone number. But now people that don't have your phone number at all are now seeing status. Like, you have their phone number, but they don't have your phone number. For example, you can see their status. They have your phone number, but you decide not to save their phone number. They can see your status. There was a time that we say, oh, I don't want them to see my status, so I have not saved the number. Sorry, with this current test that they are doing, that person can actually see your status, right? So a lot of this testing is going on and feedback are being collected, right? This is all A/B testing is, because maybe at the end of the day, users actually don't care, right? If somebody has my phone number and they don't have my number, maybe they can see my status. I mean, maybe I don't care. And the only way they can validate that you don't care is at the end of the day by testing it out with a few users and then getting feedback from them. All right, so this is what A/B testing is, as I said, but it's not just specific to A and B. You can have multiple variants, right? But there's always one control. Control being that the particular thing that doesn't ideally change, right? That one that is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be, that the user is already used to. And then the variant is what you are introducing. So you can introduce multiple variants. The control will still be there, and then you have multiple variants. But best practice, we advise that users do just one variant to one control when you are doing A/B testing. And then there are a bit of calculations to it, but the most important part, right, is that you can be able to get your data. Some of these maths that I'm giving you guys, you might not necessarily need to do it because the system will do it for you, right? Some of the tools that you're connecting to would automatically out of the box do it for you. Give me a minute. Where are you? This session replay. Okay, experiments. Why is it not showing? Okay, feature of luck. Oh, I had a feature flag yesterday. Why I removed it? Sorry for that. Why is it not taking my metrics? So again, just to give you guys context, we'll come back to this later. It's just the whole idea is that these systems. Sorry, I'm on postdoc. I was wondering where's my test. Sorry, I was looking for my test and I can't find it. Don't do that to me, please. Don't make me feel like a bad person. All right. So at the end of the day, they do it like on underground for you, right? So you don't have to worry. You see, the analytics is there. They do the analytics for you without necessarily having to worry. You don't have to do the math and English. There was a time, right, that when we do A/B testing, you have to put the data in Excel and do calculations, and which is why sometimes when I teach some of these things, I still put those calculations there. But with analytics tools, they do it out of the box. All you have to worry about is your development team actually implementing it, right? All right. So Adiola said they do at Seamless HR. So yeah, 4 statistics concepts that every PM must own when it comes to A/B testing. The first one is confidence interval, statistics power, minimum detectable effect, and p-value. P-value is basically the probability of any customer actually seeing what you are trying to push to them. Again, like I said, all of this is theoretical. You can decide not to worry about them because your analytics tool will handle all of this out of the box for you, right? So when you ship, you need both before shipping, statistically, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I told you guys that some companies, for example, in Innocent's case, if you remember the conversation we had earlier, in Innocent case, each company preferred to do their UAT with a few people. Like they would share their screen and show them the test. In my company, that's not UAT. UAT means that your user actually accepted it. So your user cannot be your internal user in this case, right? Because your internal user has been testing it from a lower environment, right? So in my case, UAT means that some actual users, as a matter of fact, we call it co-building, right? So actual users, people that are paying you, are actually using it, and then you measure their acceptance rate before you now push it to the general public, right? So in most cases, we often have to think about how much these people actually agree with it, right? So in most cases, your analytics will show it to you. Personally, I don't do calculations, right? We use user pilots. User pilots is not free. That's why I'm not using it for analytics. We use user pilots in my company. In another company that I used to work, we used to use what's the name of this platform? How am I forgetting the name? Oof. Anyway, when I remember, I'll let you guys know. So we have other platforms that we use. So the point is, those platforms will do all this math for you. They will tell you if this is something that you're having people much for or you're not having people for. Yesterday, like I said, when I built this, right, I can see the analytics and it's telling me, for example, they have 16. Uh, right, so it's showing me how my users actually have gone through it, right? That okay, 93% of users ideally go through they don't go through the environment. Only 6% go through the experiment, which means a lot of my users that yesterday were mostly web, right? They were using my system from the web. So they did not actually see this experiment, right? Just one of them saw it. So if you look at it from that particular, what do they call it, angle, it makes sense to you. That okay, then based on this one person, I can see their journey, I can see how it goes. If I set it up properly, I can see how they've actually moved from point A to point B, and then I can take actions based on that. All right, so let me just show you briefly how we create it. On any platform, it looks literally almost the same thing. So you come here, you create a feature flag. You can name it anything. You can name it, for example, make in this system automatically creates the flag for you. So I can name it make landing page green, or let's use another blue, for example, right? So when I create it, it automatically generates the feature flag. Usually feature flags they have a naming convention. So it automatically generates it. So you copy this and give it to your development team, right? Your development team will now use this in their code to actually do the separation, right? At the end of the day, then you can decide if you want to push it out to all your users or you want to push it out to only a few of them, or you can even decide specific users. I'm not sure how to handle that here. Okay. You can add a specific segment of users. Which kind of users could be users whose okay, I don't have plenty segments here. I don't have plenty segments here, but yes, you can even choose to exclude users in some systems, like the ones that we use currently. Like I said, we can use to exclude some users, like about exclude on give it to everybody except my top 10, because this system might crash, this feature might destabilize everywhere. So before I show it to my top 10, I want other people to see it first. Or you have some in B2B, it happens. you have clients that don't want anything to change in their system without their permission, right? So you want to push it out to every other person, and then when you get good feedback from those people, you now reach out to these customers and say, hey, we have an amazing feature and customer A, B, C are already using it. And they give a very, very lovely feedback. This is what the impact has been on their business. Sorry, on their business. And then sometimes they come to you and say, hey, let me speak with our management and everything before you change anything, please, because they like their thing the way they are. So in B2B, you would most likely use feature flags a lot because it's a very gated industry, or should I say sector of business, very gated. You have people who doesn't want Wala for their life, so you can't create Wala for them, right? And I guess probably that's why Seamless HR has it, because Seamless HR is providing service for other businesses as well. So it makes more sense, right? Um, so yeah, this is the idea. Then this part you address what segments do I want to give to. It can be 100% of my users, right? Split among 100% of my users. And then usually for me, I would oftentimes prefer to put it 100%. But sometimes if you put it at 50%, it should automatically decide which of your users to give it to and which one not to give it. So it will be randomized in a way, right? And then here you can create as many variants as possible. You are not necessarily creating the colors and everything. That's what your development team will do. But you can create names for the variant. So here I can say on, or I can say this is blue. And this is, I can create, that's why I say you can create as many, but when the word started, it was basically just A/B testing. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, then maybe black, right? So I have 3 different variants that I want to show to different people, right? So these 3 different variants can then be taken to some customers will see black, even though I had already specified that, for example, I want 100% of the users to have experience of it. It will be divided across these 3. So some users will see the blue color, some users, but ideally, you are not necessarily setting the colors here. You are just setting the names, right? So that when your developers are writing it, they can basically decide, they can write this particular feature flag and also specify the variants in the code, so that when the browser is serving the website to users or application to users, it can randomize some to take blue, some to take black, some to take green, and all of that. All right, aside from variants, you can also do a setup of testing, right? Probably like add certain people that you want to be able to test a particular type. For example, I can add some user ID or device ID and say, okay, this device, I want them to have blue. We use it for testing before we actually go live. So even when we have gone live, we can have like 4 different devices. Okay, these devices usually our QA team. And there was a time that product managers also do. I don't build mobile apps again, so I don't know if I've not had to build mobile app in a while. But when I started my career, right, companies would give us both iPhone and Android. So they give you a company laptop, usually a MacBook. If your company is not very rich, they give you at least a Lenovo thereabouts, and then they give you an iPhone and a Samsung or an Android device. So usually companies give these 3 as work devices. And why do they do it? So that in tests like this, you can, for example, what I did, that on mobile, I can set this blue to Android, and then this green to iOS, and then this black to, any other operating system, right? And on my phone, before the user even start coming and saying, oh, I love your new website, I love your Kinikon, I can already test it and see what it looks like in most cases. And that's the advantage of adding user IDs to it. And in most cases, you can just, assuming I have a lot of cohorts already, I can also manually determine who gets what at this particular phase. But more importantly, your development team can programmatically set this on the UI as well, so that you don't have to worry about setting it manually. And like I said, most of the platforms that I've used, they look literally similar. The UI might not look the same thing, but they have almost the same thing in common. I gave you guys post.org. At first, you create an experiment. After creating an experiment, like I said, you have variant. You see, you select the variant, the control, and like I said, contrary to popular opinion that A/B testing is just A or B, no. You are hearing from me today. For those of you that don't know, it's not just A or B. You can have multiple variants going at the same time. But best practice is that you have just two, so that you can easily manage expectations, right? The more you have, the harder it is to decide, right? But in most cases, as I said, we don't just use A/B testing for deciding. Sometimes we use it to we also use it in case where we want to keep certain features from certain users, right? Maybe your company does not have a comprehensive billing system that automatically gives access to customers based on certain things, right? You can have like feature flag. If the customer does not pay for it, that means maybe payment is done manually, or especially for companies that doesn't have like a fixed rate, right? So which means it might be hard to set the fixed rate on the system. So in those cases, usually we have to come and add users manually to a flag for them to be able to have certain access to certain features. Now, the big question, right, that some of us might probably have is, if we're doing A/B testing, does this ideally mean that some people will not have the feature and other people will have the feature? Yes. Like, what do I mean? Does it mean that what is deployed to Mr. A, in this case of ABC now, does it mean that what is deployed to Mr. A is different from what is deployed to Mr. B? No. Both of them, remember when I said the other time, both of them has the same copy of the code. However, some part of it is hidden from some, while some part of it is open to others, right? That's just the idea of A/B testing. And sometimes it's just activating color for one, activating color for the other. Like in my case, what I did or what I implemented, by the way, with the use of AI, is to ensure that anybody on mobile devices can see a different color. It could be something else. It could be, I can make it in such a way, where's that my website? I can make it in such a way that this entire session is totally different, right? For iOS users. And this is, you can find this a lot with platforms. Well, it's not necessarily the same. Yeah, it's the same. You can find it with some Android device, right? When you are on your Samsung, like your Samsung version, right? You just realize that some system app, maybe like your calculator, looks more sleek than your friend that is on Techno, right? It's the same company. So why is the variance or the variation so different? It's because the requirement of these individual systems are different. They differ, even though they are same Android. So because of this, sometimes systems have to adjust a bit. So there's a feature if you are using Samsung, but the feature is not allowed if you are using a for example, a Techno, right? For example, let's assume if you use Samsung, the feature is seen, but if you use Techno, the feature is not visible, right? This can also be a blocker, so to say, right? Because maybe Samsung users have access. Let me give you an example of what I mean. There's this feature, what's it called again? There's this most of our phones now, at the back of the phone there is a scanner. Can't remember, I'm trying to remember the name of this technology. There's a scanner that allows you to scan for example your passports, right? For those of us that have done LinkedIn verification, that will verify our international passport on LinkedIn, right? You had to use it, right? Now, this feature is not available on every mobile device, right? So, which means if I want to build a app that depends on that feature, or a feature on my app. For example, let's assume I'm OP and I'm trying to build a feature that allows people to just it's already existing in some companies, some countries, which is contact payment. So you place your phone on the scanner and then it makes the payment, right? um I want to add this feature to my existing application, right? So which means that I have to make sure that, so that people don't come and say, oh, our system is buggy. Because if I don't feature flag it well enough, it means that if my user gets there and they put it on their phone on it and the scanner is scanning, it probably tell them no phone, no mobile or no payment device found, no kinikon or error, and then they come and say your system is terrible, instead of it to explicitly tell them that this is not supported on this device or on whatever it is. So there are a lot of use cases or a lot of ways that feature flags could be beneficiary to us as product managers. But again, like I said, the reason why I'm teaching it now is because if we don't know it, then we most likely would not know to tell our customers or our users about it. There's one that I also did. Some of us probably, when we logged into this website, we saw white color, we saw this white background, the white mode, sorry, or light mode. And then some of us saw the dark mode, right? Even though there's a click button here, initially when I built the system, I built it to be device or browser specific. So if the browser you use is actually set to dark mode, it will automatically switch to dark mode. If the browser you use is set to light mode, it will automatically switch to light mode. And this is a feature that I actually added to the system from scratch, right? Some of these ways are what we call feature flag. Now, can you implement feature flag without analytics system? Yes. 100% yes. A million times over yes. You can. But the reason why we do it with analytical system, English. The reason why we do it with analytics system is because it helps us see the analytics, or basically the insights from the campaign that you're sending or the experiments that you're trying to do. How many people are using this? But if you design it yourself, then you most likely will be doing a lot of willpower, which means you'll be sending data to your database and querying that data. It puts a lot of load on your backend, so to say. So to save you that unnecessary data or load, right, you can give that particular responsibility to another company, which is analytical systems. All right. We'll still talk about this in properly when we talk about build and buy strategy for us as product managers. All right, so this is what I wanted to discuss today. I'm sorry, I'm a bit under the weather, so I might be gulping in class. I'm sorry about that. So do we have any questions based on what we've learned today on A/B testing? Do we understand? Again, the calculations, you don't have to really worry yourself about it. Oh, yes. One more thing. When we are designing a valid experiment, again, like I said, feature flags are not necessarily only for A/B testing. But if you do decide to do A/B testing and you are designing what it should look like, the first thing is you have to have a hypothesis. What exactly am I trying to test? Right? Hypothesis is what defines that. That okay, I believe that if I do this, if I change the color to red, Adiola will like me so much that she'll be sending me money every day. Right? That can be an hypothesis, right? Oh, if Adiola just come to my website, just like, I'm just so happy with this guy. She'll just come to my DM and say, Ogashawa, send your account number. I'm like, really? Why? See, I just look at your website again. I was just so happy. That's an hypothesis. All right. However, that hypothesis in itself is invalid until proven valid. So the reason why you are doing A/B testing is to validate that hypothesis that Adela will send me money is actually valid. So I'll make it green so that by the end of the day, I see if Adiola actually send me money, right? This is the balance. So the first thing is you write down the hypothesis, you define what exactly you are using to track that hypothesis. Like in the case of, in my case, I'm saying, okay, I want the primary metrics to be um such that if Adiola send me money twice or three times, then I believe that Adiola will always send me money. If she doesn't send me, I would believe that no, let me change it back to what it was before, right? And then usually I calculate the sample size. In most cases, companies don't do this. We just allow the authentication authorization system to handle it, like I did right now. Just set one ABC, and it automatically set it, right? Automatically handles. Where is it? Yeah, automatically handles the 34, 33, 33, right? Of course, you can always adjust it manually as well. Let me see if, yeah, you can always adjust it manually. You can change it to 24 and then update the rest, right? But again, eventually, most companies will just leave it so that it automatically does its own magic, right? Then verify randomization, right? Verify that users are actually randomized, right? Same users always see the same results or the same variant, right? So you can do, okay, if you check it while after this thing is deployed, you validate and you green. It means that consistently you should be seeing green. It shouldn't be that, oh, I'm seeing blue, 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 I'm seeing green tomorrow, I'm seeing red tomorrow. No, it has to be consistent. Once the system has marked you as green, then you should be getting green till the program is done, because I want to actually see your experience to that green, right? And then set guardrail. This usually is, let me show you an example of what that looks like. Where's tools? Yeah, experiment. By the way, I opened this particular platform for the first time ever in my life yesterday. First time ever in my life. I'd never ever used, and I've had my student talk about it. I've thought about it as well, that there's a tool called Amplitude. It probably works, right? But I've never had to use it before. And this is what I'm trying to say about you basically building on it. Let me show you what it looks like. I saw it somewhere yesterday. Where are you? Okay, sorry. It's not available on freemium here. Let me see if it's available here. 34. As you can see, this particular platform, post.org, allows you to exclude certain users, right? How to measure impact? Yes. So this is where you set the primary metrics. It could be a single metrics or multiple ones, depending on the case. And then you can set a secondary one as well, but that's not what I'm looking for. There should be a feature that, anyway, going back to the tool we use, there's a particular part that allows you to actually decide, okay, I know we plan to do this for 7 days, but if this is right before 7 days, if this is met, you could say that if the number of users that are retained on the green is 70% more than any other before the 7 days, then set green as default for every other person. So just cancel the experiment and set it for every other person, right? So that kind of rule is applicable in my, in fact, that's what I set most times when I'm confident about the product in most cases, or the feature that we're doing. All right, so what are the certain problem that we have with common pitfalls, so to say, that we have with A/B testings? Number one, picking at results too early, right? You shouldn't go and check every time. No, wait. If you are setting something for 30 days, wait till after 30 days and check and verify. Multiple testing problem, right? Like I said, you don't need 10 metrics. You don't even need 10 different colors, right? That's why they call it A/B testing. It's not A to Z testing, right? Try as much as possible to have like a primary goal and primary metrics that you're trying to actually measure, right? Sample ratio mismatch, yeah, your 50-50 shows 48 to 52. Sometimes again, if you notice, there was a setup I was doing here. Let me go back here. I had set it up for rollout to 100%. However, when I was calculating, I calculated 25 here. The system had to warn me that, Baba, you are doing something else. So that's not the thing that we agree on, right? So sometimes people make this mistake, and at the end of the day, there's a gap in the users that are trying to have access to it. Eventually, these users might never have access to that feature if care is not taken, right? Also, day one engagement on new variants is because it's new. Exactly. Also, this novelty effect is a problem with most of our systems, and I wanted to talk about it intentionally because as product managers who would experience this in our career, and what exactly is it? It's the how do I explain it? When we were young, right? If our parents were to just show up and say they give us a phone, at least I remember the first time not like they gave me anyway, I bought it myself. I said to buy the phone myself. But that first time you had the phone, that first time you had, I can remember the first time I got this laptop. I was so like it felt, the first time you buy a PC that is more than a certain amount of money, your body will just force relax that I have made it, right? Or the first time I bought my first iPhone, I don't even like iPhone anymore. I don't even use iPhone, right? I literally just went to. I remember I was in Port Harcourt at the time. I remember I just went into um, the phone gadget side and I say, hey, let me see the iPhones that you have. I had money that I don't know what to use or what to do with it at that time. I was like, okay, yeah, just give me that. And the first few weeks that I got the iPhone, almost it was like my Android phone was useless. I was always sitting down with it, different thing. I was like, oh, this is good. All my friends iPhone, I was doing iMessage, that game that I used to, all those games. I started just using everything. It was so exciting. After a month and 2 months, 3 months, there was a point in time that the phone literally was in my drawer. Like nothing was wrong with it. I remember at that time it was, I think, iPhone 12. I think iPhone 12 Pro Max or something. I shall know it was not 11. It was after 11, 12 or 13, right? There was a time it was literally in my drawer. Just sat down there. Like it was not bad. It was not, nothing was wrong with it. It's just there. And there's this SIM I use for business. So it's just inside. Like I don't receive call as much on it. So like there was just one day I just remembered I have an iPhone. Like I just said, hey guy, if I want to sell this thing, what's it worth? I have to sell it eventually. Now, what am I trying to say? You see that feeling of, oh, this is a new feature, can make your data really messy. So the first few days of your metrics is not valid. Like give them time, give the user time to breathe, like to breathe in the process, to fill in the process. um this varies for different products, right? For some products, for example, if the product you're building is such that has a lot of volume, for example, you are building a product for businesses that run millions or billions in transactions per day, then your wait should not be very long. Like in 2 days or 3 days, then your novelty price your novelty kidney would have wipe up, and then you can get valid outputs. We are not in the what do they call it now? In certain industries that early bing bing, right, is good. In most cases, early bing bing for us as software product managers is always very bad signal, right? So the fact that people welcome your product at the early stage does not mean that your product actually solved their problem. So give it some time, right? Give it some time. And the same thing when you're doing testing, don't just look at the data and say, So it also means that the estimated time for your testing is actually very important, right? And then please don't test without hypothesis. I mean, I can't even imagine a scenario where you test without hypothesis. It makes no sense. Like you have to have a result that you want to, like a goal that you want to achieve in mind for testing, right? The reason why I made that red was because I wanted to teach you guys about A/B testing, not because I wanted to change the color anyway. I mean, but now Adiola is giving me reason to go and think about it. Red has never been my thing, but probably I will change it. Probably I will not. But then I'll just wait and get feedback from a couple of more people to see if the red is actually ready, right? So always have a goal in mind, basically, before you make. Don't just do it because everybody's doing it, right? Too little traffic. You've already decided. Irreversible one-time change and technical constraint, right? There's no point, right? There's no point doing A/B testing if you already decided. There's no point. You have no reason at all when the traffic is low. There's no point doing all those rubbish things, and all that. All right. So I have an assignment to give you before I ask if you guys have a question, right? I want you to do a bit of, I mean, I didn't go into the code to show you how it was implemented because, again, I did not have to implement it. I used AI. I've taught you guys how to use Lovable and all of that. So I want you to implement something similar to the landing page that you guys built. At least by now, everybody on this call should have a portfolio website. You're on this call, you should have a portfolio website. Now, take your portfolio website and maybe decide whether you want to use Amplitude or post.org, and do something simple like what I did. Maybe change a color or change the entire design of a section based on the device that the user is using, right? And yes, let's play around it. And probably next week we can walk around it together. This is actually your, I think I'll have to change it. This is actually what I expect for your project. This, why you? Nope. All right, so I'll change this. I don't want you to do API design. So I'll change this to that right now. So add A/B testing, add a feature that can be A/B tested with a goal in mind, basically, on your landing page, right? On your landing page. And how can you do that? Right now, all of us at least have built it with one thing or the other. Adiola did not use Lovable. She had to, struggle with, I think, open code. I'm not even sure she's done. But she has to struggle with open code at some point. I'm sure Nkechi also had to do one or two things on her own. So, but some of us, we use Lovable. Joseph used Vassell, I remember, right? So just continue using the tool that you use, and then you can tell that tool to actually set up analytics for you on any of these particular system. I will necessarily, you notice that I've not been very hard on you submitting assignments, or some of you submitted. I've not even reviewed some of them. But again, the reason why I do these assignments is not because I want to stress you, or it's so that you guys can actually build these skills yourself. So please do it. All right, thank you. Any questions so far? So that I can answer them. Yes, Nkechi.
I wanted to ask for the assignment, the previous week two assignment, can I resubmit?
Yeah, yes, you can. What's week 2 assignment again?
I think week two is the
Your prototype.
portfolio. Yeah.
Yeah. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. I'll allow you to resubmit. Thank you. All right. Any other question?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, can you shed more light on what you said by testing without hypothesis?
So testing without hypothesis is, for example, let's say I just decide that I want to just, make my system dark mode and light mode, right? For no reason. That's what I mean by testing with hypothesis. I'm trying to think of a scenario where this can happen. This can occur. Where this can occur. Let me think of Zap, right? Zap as an example. All of us by now should know what Zap by Paystack is. I'm doing free advertisement for them, but all of us should know what Zap by Paystack is now. Now, Zap app, as I've always talked about in class, does just transfer at the core, right? Let's assume that Zap decides that tomorrow they want to allow you to actually be able to buy airtime and pay for data on their platform. Now, but because most of their clients came because their system is so simple, they have an assumption, right? That most of their clients came because it's so simple, it doesn't have all those plenty features, you can just go there and send. And now a part of their company is also with the opinion that no, we have some people that really don't want to have to be moving their money to another platform to actually buy data. They want to do it in a single platform. You see, that in itself is a worthy reason to do A/B testing. So I look at my entire customer base and then I look at cohorts. I explain what cohort is. I can group them into cohorts based on maybe behaviors that they have and all of that. And then I pick each of the cohorts and then divide them into groups. We implement a simple version of the product. We call it usually POC, proof of concept, right? It can be a simple API, but we're not building it very heavy because we don't want to push it to all our customers yet. So we'll pick a cohort, especially people that it can be people that Zap have realized that used to move out little money. Like maybe they just lose out 30,000 to their own personal account, or 20,000 to their personal account, or 30,000 to their personal account. But they just move those little money once in a while, and then most of their big transactions are big money, right? So they assume, this can be an assumption, that all these people that are moving little money, they're moving because they want to go and buy a time or do something. So let's pick these people, put them in a cohort, and then this set of people now, we do A/B testing for them. Some of them, we give them the feature, or other of them, we don't give them feature, and then observe what the behavior or feedback on this would look like, or if they would even use it at all, right? Now, this is what I mean by having a goal in mind when you actually do A/B testing. You don't do A/B testing without hypothesis. So the hypothesis in this example I gave is that our users will probably not use it because they came for transfer. Now, after maybe like 30 days or 7 days that you have put there, if you have more people on they will use it than they did not use it, then you can know that your hypothesis is right. So you can decide if it is worth living, if the feature is worth building now for everybody, or it is not worth building at all, right? Or it is maybe you need to make some changes to it, or a lot of things. Does that answer your question, Joseph? Ideally, this is what hypothesis mean.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other question? All right. If there's no other question, I will shortly just update the week 3 assessment. Yes, week 3 assessments to week 3 projects rather, to you people adding your data analytics, your analytics to. So what you will submit is you submit the link that you actually connect to the analytics tool. You tell me the name of the analytics tool that you used, and finally you give me what your hypothesis is so that I can test it myself, right? It could be, if you are on iPhone, then this should not show. If you're on, maybe your own is different, or you can say, okay, for you to be able to enter the testing criteria, you have to meet this or that. Do you get? So that I can be able to test effectively what you're trying to show me. All right. Thank you, and have a lovely weekend. Bye.